Great. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. I hope you are having your coffee as I do. And otherwise, just have a nice break and have anything of your liking. Yes, my name is Luc Mulling. I invited you for a brief coffee break. And the idea is to go over some of the student recruitment trends. And yeah, we'll go over some of these main trends that I'll describe you in just a minute, and especially what not to do. So here we go. So some of the trends we have identified are here on the screen. You can probably relate to some of them. And yeah, I have picked out some of the main ones that are especially for this year we feel relevant. So mobile, obviously, already always been a trend, but also technology that is ever changing, budget limitations. New is AI, big impact, big data, and how to deal still with personal touches, attention spans, and resource limitations, and to deliver an engaging experience. All in all, it's packed with a lot of information, as you see. I try to be sticking to about 15 minutes, but if we run over, then yeah, feel free to stay on, of course. Um, the challenges. So you probably recognize some of this. We packed it in four different challenges: being digital fatigue, getting quality profiles, converting students to apply, and of course having technology help you. Now, I have a question before we kick off. What is your biggest challenge? So I will put that on the screen right now. It's in the polling at the right bottom. So you can actually pick more of them. There you see some options, and let us know what are some of the challenges that you are facing. And that way, I can also personalize this a little bit more to you to see if I can help you with some of these, of course. That's also the purpose of this coffee break, to get you some more information, and you leave after your cup of coffee with not only a good feeling of the coffee, but also of some of the information and content you received. All right. So whilst we're getting answers, also I'd like to mention, if people watch the recording, you can also still participate. So do by all means answer the poll, because I can then still get back to you, of course, later. All right. Now, the coffee break, as mentioned, is mentioned what not to do. I think most of you, I saw actually on a previous post, are all involved in student recruitment. So that's great to see. So you have experience in what to do, but also maybe not what to do, not what not to do. Sorry. Now, one of the things, of course, is spending money on getting lots of traffic that doesn't convert. I see in this poll that not many people cited budget limitations, but I'm sure this is all top of mind for you, of course. You don't want to spend money that doesn't convert for students. Although it could be great for awareness, but portals, agencies, sometimes Google Ads or LinkedIn, these can be, yeah, sources of marketing that don't convert. They can maybe fit for other purposes, but you don't want to probably invest now in things that don't bring you students. Same as the other points on the screen are unauthentic ads, not fit for purpose technology, and some not tracking. I'll go over some of the details later. All right, what else not to do? Getting unqualified students. If you get unqualified students, they might not be a good fit for your program. They, in the end, cannot enroll. They're not happy, and you're not happy. So it's time and effort wasted, so to say. And yeah, don't launch ads without monitoring. It's of course a no-brainer. Um, Also to target very wide, and not, yeah, basically doing specific campaigns. I see the biggest challenge, some of you have mentioned, is deciding which marketing channel to use. So I have good news for you. I will bring you some of these channels and explain a little bit more on some tips later, what we feel you can do with some of the marketing channels and which ones to use. Um, Also, a lot of you actually mentioned getting qualified students that fit is a big challenge. So yeah, make sure to not use channels that don't bring this, of course. So I don't know if you're trying fairs again this year. It's of course stopped a couple of years. I know from universities a lot of them do try it again, and that's all great. You can of course see if it works for you, but be careful, of course, investing your money without any guarantees in the sense of yeah, the return of investment, so to say. So we're here to help you a little bit with that. Another thing not to do, first of all, is this ROI. So not tracking is one big one in marketing. Of course, we're now becoming data analysts almost. You need to track everything. There's a lot of tools and ways to support it and softwares. If you like to know something more about specific items, do drop me a chat um, or drop a question on any of the points I've mentioned, because I can only pack so much information in this session. But I can tell you, I can gladly share some of the tools and tips that we use for recruiting students. So if you want to know something specifically, let me know in the chat, please. All right. Um, Now, also integrations that goes hand in hand with software and tools, and of course, spending again money without a guarantee. In terms of webinars, we started doing recruitment webinars about 10 years ago. You probably do this by now. 10 years ago, it was special. We were, I think, the leading player in the market. By now, everybody has a Zoom or Team license. But now it's not so much if you do them, but how you do them, right? So don't do boring webinars without engagement or ways that you don't the audience doesn't feel yeah, that they're getting the information that they're looking for. That's the important part. So with that, also don't do webinars, in our opinion, where you don't involve students. Students want to hear from students. Another big trend, which I'm tipping on later on as well, is to involve students. And lastly, on this point, not to have clear reporting and again insights. All right. So all of that is a lot of things what not to do. That's a lot of information already, and we're just not even 10 minutes in. And you maybe feel already overwhelmed with a lot of this. Now let's tap in some things what to do in our opinion, in our humble opinion, if I may say. But we have 10 years of experience with a lot of marketing channels, and let me start with one of the main ones is engagement, right? So very key to qualifying and converting students in the end is engagement. And if let me see in the poll, did some of the people mention that converting students as well? So yes. So let's dive into this point, engagement. What to do? All right, here are some ideas. First of all, you need to build up momentum, right? So in terms of webinars, you can do a lot with teasers, with videos, of course, using social media and reminders in different ways. We actually call students before joining a webinar. We haven't done that with you this time, but with students we do, and we get a positive response. People like to be reminded. They like that to see there's still a personal touch. So that's already one of the things. There's so many tools, and everybody gets bombarded with all the online messages and emails and social media, everything. So it's kind of refreshing to get sometimes a personal call and people remind them. And actually, we use that call also to qualify briefly students. So there's one. And we get a higher turn up rate in the end. So again, in terms of engagement, that is directly a result. We get more people joining the webinars. Other engagements are, of course, is content, building up again as well to a webinar, but also it can be your open day in physical form or any other things. You need to use different channels, right? So the people saying it's difficult deciding which channels to use. Well, First of all, the bad news is that you need to do all of them pretty much. You need to be in blogs, creating content, social media, and doing a lot of this. The point, of course, is being that you check to see what works, and again, that creates engagement. All right, let's move on to the point of delivery. In this terms of webinar delivery, so we feel it should be dynamic, and yeah, this comes a bit point to the point of the challenge that I started explaining in the beginning of digital fatigue. There is this word now called Zoom fatigue. We are all in a lot of Zoom meetings and webinars, and it needs to be refreshing. So we work with universities to make this happen. One of the tips actually we give is don't do it sit down like going over a boring presentation, but make it dynamic. Make it that people stand up, get their energy, get their face in the on the screen like I'm doing now, so people get a little bit more personal touch, and yeah, to really interact with the audience and deliver a conversational style. So I'm now by myself, but normally what we do is we have different people join the session, and again, a student being an important part of it, and the program director is then talking to the student and basically kind of an interview. Why did you choose our university? Why did you decide for this program? Instead of going through slides and explaining that, have a conversation about that, right? So this is a nice way of making it more interactive and again engaging. And yeah, in our experience, people stay on. All right. So other point is use videos. I used a little fun video in the start about the coffee, and this is just a little way to do this. In this session, I try to be brief, so I won't go show too many items since I am trying to get you as much information as possible in a short time. But there's a lot of ways to still deliver a lot of videos and other content. We also stream normally the webinars through other channels. So this is very simple. Actually, you can plug in. It's called StreamYard. I'm giving that away already, a freebie, to right away stream your webinar through YouTube, through LinkedIn, and through Facebook. So we're doing that with all our webinars. Engagement data. Again, back to the point of data. You're getting a lot of data, polls, Q&As, which reminds me, again, if people have a question, let us know in the question box, or you want to chat something that you want to know. This is the moment, because we're getting in the last couple of minutes of this coffee break, and I'll gladly answer any challenge that you have or any point that you want to know more about. I can dive into that. So let me know. Anyway, CTAs, for those people not familiar with the term, that's call to actions. From both the live and on-demand webinar. I've specifically mentioned on-demand here because you can, in a lot of the software that we use, and this is not Zoom or Teams, and I'm a big advocate of not using those in webinars. Why? Because they are not great for on-demand viewing. You watch it, you need to install often a plugin if you want to watch from a mobile or an iPad, and that's not great. With this platform that we use, you don't. And actually, all of the call to actions are still possible in the recording. And I know nowadays more people watch the recording than join live. So it is an important part. People sign up on a lot of webinars and then watch it whenever they want. I call it the Netflix generation, right? And same with me. I do that all the time and watch it whenever it's convenient to me. Anyway, let's move on. Another important point, targeted campaigns. So as I put on the screen, the qualification is more important than location. Now, in our opinion, how do you target to the right people? Well, first of all, you want to know their persona, so to say. Who's your student? Their age, interest, background, which countries, of course. And on that point of countries, do your research, but also I'm putting there some of the opportunities you may not have thought about. There is something called a UNESCO flow, of student flow, that you can easily use, and you can track which students in, for example, postgraduate programs are more likely to go to your country than others. You might have missed some countries that you are not aware of. And yeah, again, if you want to know more about it, let me know. I can gladly provide you some more information. The channels. All right. So here, this is a big topic. I cannot go over all of this right now, but I will highlight just one or 2 points. These are all the social media channels here: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. So they're all great by their own ways. Depends on the again on the students that you're trying to reach. Is it undergraduate? Probably TikTok is now a great one to use and to experiment with. We are doing that as well, by the way. So we use it in our recruitment efforts. Of course, Facebook, Instagram is still great. Um, LinkedIn. Now, this is one a special one I want to highlight. In our experience, and maybe some of you have experienced that as well if you've tried it for your recruitment, LinkedIn is can be very expensive. So the cost per lead, so to say, is very high. It can be up to 100 euros or so for just getting a good lead. They typically are of good quality, but it's expensive. So what have we found out? We actually use groups. There are a lot of LinkedIn groups. They're all addressed in terms of their interest groups. So are you promoting a program on sustainability, which by just happening right now, we're doing that, for example. We use LinkedIn groups. If it's a master program, then we find groups on sustainability, and we actually make collaborations with the owner, who is then promoting it on our behalf, and then we pay the owner per lead. This way, we're getting just the right people in terms of that interest group, and the right profile based on the age generally as well. And again, it's more important that they're qualified than the location, as mentioned. So this can be a great way to get the right quality people that you're looking for. All right. Again, engagement also important in your campaigns. Um, Before I mentioned it more in terms of, yeah, for example, the webinar, but engagement with your campaigns, it's important that they're short, student-led. So it's great we're now starting to involve students. If you follow our Instagram account, you will see that now more and more involving students themselves to tell their story instead of us promoting certain programs. And we use GIFs as well, videos, of course. GIFs is a nice mix between a picture and a video. It's kind of in between. So it's a short, maybe 20-second GIF that it's moving, a moving picture. So that can be great. We test that as well. And yeah, again, have students being involved. I will get back to the student part in another point, and I think it's coming up right now. Lead nurturing. So nurture what you have. Well, nice philosophical statement already by itself, but how do I mean that in terms of marketing? Well, from start, know your persona. I just went over that, but then engage, interact, and provide value. So here it comes another option that I like you to take away with the student community. I don't know who of the audience today has a student community, but if you do, let us know. Let me know in the chat or a question that you have about this, because I can tell you from our experience, we have included a student community on our portal. So it's and I'll give that away. It's a Discord group. So basically, we created a group, a channel for each webinar that we do, and we have students from those webinars connect with each other after the webinar, so they can then amongst themselves, yeah, share information, network, often share useful tips on typical challenges for students like housing, visas or scholarships. So who's better to help each other than the students themselves? Because they all face these challenges, and it can help you, and that you don't have to answer all these questions, and it can offlay your resources, so to say. But most of all, it's great for them to connect between each other. Um, Students want to hear from students. They want to hear their experiences, and we've just started with this just a couple of months ago. It's going well already. We're having more ideas of getting student ambassadors involved with from the universities we work with. But yeah, these are just some initial steps and some ideas to implement. Okay, finalized the lead nurturing. Of course, again, track, monitor, and follow up. And that brings me to the last point, and that is the triple A: AI, automation, and analytics. All right, again, a very big topic that I could go on with about for yeah, an hour by itself. Um, but there's a lot of talk now on this, and we're following this very closely. AI, for example, we're using the now famous Chat GPT to create content. It's great. And I actually encourage you to check our blog. We have created some blogs already in the last week just about this topic and with the help of the bot. We also have a chatbot on our portal. I don't know if your university has one. These are great ways and save you a lot of time. You need to be involved in this basically. If it's not within your team, this you should be talking to the other teams or the IT department or so to have this and make this your friend, because they can save a lot of time, and you need to be competitive in the end as well, right? What else about data can I say? Well, check, of course, all the data that you can get your hands on uh, from webinars. We checking views to a page, clicks on the links to the actual registrations. We have now a direct apply button on the portal. So sometimes people are already convinced and ready to apply, and they don't necessarily need to see the webinar. It's great if they do, and then we can already kind of filter out the people that are, so to say, ready and hot leads. So we have that option now as well. Um, and again, other data points like your spreadsheets, your Google Analytics, CRM. I know this a hot topic in a lot of universities. Something maybe you cannot influence directly always, but these are very key things to have thought about and integrated between each other, right? So now we're talking about the whole student flow, that they get into the CRM, you can follow up timely and review, adapt where necessary, and focus again on the low-hanging fruit that works and spot new opportunities. Okay, so let me have a little sip of my coffee before we finish this off. Now, we're coming to the end of this. I'm giving still away some tips. Why other universities work with us was exactly for these 4 reasons: targeting, profiling, converting, technology, and data. Um, what can you do now? What I want you to take away from this coffee break? Well, you have different options. I hope I gave you already some information. This is just a start. There's a lot of more information behind what I've been giving you today. You can again drop a question. I'll gladly stay on and address any of your challenges or anything that you're wondering about. I also actually are opening up a little poll um, right now on the screen to see what you would like to do next. So you can pick the question of your choice if you want a brief discovery meeting. If you want to say first that you send us your challenges or requirements, I'll drop my email in the chat. And by all means, let us know what you like to do next. But we have some options otherwise for you, what to do next. You can check out our blog, and there you find a lot of information. You can also get a free university profile. So another link I will provide you is now on the screen. I invite you, since you joined this coffee break, you can get your free university profile. There you go. So if you click on that, you actually go to our website. You can see the blog there as well. And you can also download the ebook that we have created for you. So if you want to receive it, I think actually you can download it um, in the option from the apps at the bottom. Um, there are some handouts. There is exactly a step-by-step guide. It's giving there, but otherwise, request it to me and I'll send it to you. And last but not least, if you want to know more, if you want to see if this suits you, all of this that I've explained to you, we can all do that in one service. So we can take care of your and help you with some student recruitment challenges. Some of the things you mentioned in using the right channels, we can help you with that. We can identify which channels would suit you best. We can qualify, convert students, and yeah, whilst you having a coffee and sit back and relax. So how great is that? Well, let us know again. I'm staying on for a couple of more minutes, and I hope I'll be able to give you some of the useful information. If you like to have the personal, yeah, I like to call it discovery meeting because that is basically what it is. It's discovering if this works for you, if we can help you. There's no strings attached, so to say. Uh, you can just book in a free meeting, 30 minutes. It's the link is in the chat. There you can see when I'm available and book me in. Go ahead, and then we can find out if we can work with you. Anyway, hope this was useful for you. Here are just some of the people that you likely recognize, some of the universities that we've worked with. For sure, one in your country, and I hope this was useful. And this first is a start, this conversation, which can lead to conversions. That's what I really like to say, from conversations to conversions. And let's today be the start. My name is Luc Mulling. Thanks again, everyone, and I hope it was useful. Thank you, and I appreciate your time. I know you're busy, but yeah, I'll hope you enjoyed the coffee and otherwise the break as well. So far, bye bye from Barcelona.